Your boy Destiny Foods is influencing a small group of dumb consent violators. It's tough. Yeah, I'm violating your consent by forcing you to watch me. Okay? Boom. What you gonna do about it, bitch? I'm kidding. I love you again.
But she explicitly mocked the idea of the report when I announced it, or when Destiny announced it. She mocked it. I think when it came out, maybe she didn't talk about it when it came out, but she's clearly been mocking of the idea of Destiny
Yeah, the
being
Foodshops cool.
abusive. And then even in November, she was tweeting, running cover for him and telling people to fuck off and calling them crazy for wanting her to
Comment on it. Yeah.
comment
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
it
Yeah. Yeah.
and speak out against him. And then when she finally does issue a statement, she's still trying to get away unscathed as though she had no idea any of this would happen. And it just comes off like, I didn't do anything wrong. Please keep giving me money. And I understand that, but like you have to take some responsibility for this. And people
By the way, okay, I can totally understand why Ukrainian Anna probably has one of the biggest reasonings to be incredibly loyal to Destiny, and for obvious reasons, right? Is because in her mind, nothing is more important than the war, and she'll do everything in her power to maximize winning the war. So obviously, she's going to keep her connection to Destiny no matter what, in order to secure more funding for her, um, for her squad, right? Obviously. Um, so this is why I can't place that much culpability on Ukrainian Anna, just mainly because from her position, it's like entirely understandable. I think like she has one of the most defensible positions in my opinion. But yeah,
need to know that when you see an abuse allegation and you jump in,
yeah, her crowdfunding literally saved lives, right? If 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 your choice was to keep the bridge with somebody that will save people you love and care about versus admitting online that Destiny is like a sex predator or whatever the fuck and no longer get any kind of funding whatsoever, like what the fuck do you think you're gonna choose, right? Like fuck me, dude. Of course.
to dunk on the victims or alleged victims, even if the allegation is
So
bullshit, you should not
cost
be doing that because you
cost,
don't really
okay?
know. You don't.
It's
You
costing.
you never. Sex is so private, and these kinds of allegations about like behavior in private or
I don't know if Destiny looks good at all to anyone who isn't DGG. Actually, nah, he only looks good to DGG. I feel like I can confirm your suspicions right there. I have looked at other communities, and every single other community is very anti DGG. Okay, so
or
boom.
emotional abuse. Like you don't know. You really don't know what people are like in private. Like I was saying this to Shaylin, where like I don't understand these character support statements that people make. I was watching Quiet on the Set, this
Okay.
HBO documentary about child sexual abuse, and Drake Bell accuses Brian Peck of molesting him, and he gets arrested and he goes
Mhm.
to court. And then James Marsden wrote this like effusively positive letter supporting Brian Peck, being like, well, and apparently it was a theme through all the letters of like, if he did do anything, it was because of extreme temptation. Like he's not normally like he would never actually do this. And I was like talking to Shaylin, I was like, if like 5 kids came forward and said that you molested them, I would 100% believe them, no question.
Yep.
Because like there's no and like I trust Shaylin more than anyone, but it
5
doesn't.
unrelated, totally. I mean, they probably have to be like independently, like not related to each other or something.
No, if 5 people,
Yeah.
if she had like a she was babysitting 5 kids, they all said she molested them, I'd believe them.
I'd probably, if it were my girlfriend, I'd ask to hear what happened.
Oh no, I would
I'd
ask
hear
to hear
her
what
side.
happened. But my
Okay. Okay.
default would be I would never go out in
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
and say, I have known Shaylin for 5 years and she's amazing. I've seen her with kids and she's always been respectful and caring and she's just the most honest. And it could be anyone. It could be anyone. And if you don't think it could be anyone and you're like, it couldn't be Destiny. Destiny would are you fucking kidding me? It could be anyone. If 5 kids come forward, 5 victims come forward about your mother, your father, your priest, your dentist, your best friend. It doesn't matter. They're probably telling the truth. And so, like, I just don't get, and I want to put that out there. Like, don't throw yourself in front of this, especially to appease the cult. Don't do that. Don't do this for donations. Don't do this for.
When you say throw
know,
yourself in front of this, do you mean the trying to
what
get
you
out
c-
unscathed, or do you mean
No. I mean, UkrainianAna making this tweet of being like, making fun of the idea of writing a report about Destiny's abusive behavior. And just like, why?
yes, a few years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and then the same
Why does it call him? That's always been his online tag. Okay.
Yeah.
thing in November. Like, don't be telling people to fuck up. Like, you don't know what happened, and you don't know how this is going to reflect on you, and you don't know what you're doing to victims. Like, it's just wrong. It's just so immoral. So, even if she's doing it because she's in a cult, she's still responsible for her actions. She's still a public figure, and she's.
Nah, this is gay, dude. This is actually just gay. I'm sorry. Okay, MrGirl's lost the plot here. Dude, just think about it from her situation, okay? Again, she has a war to win. Fuck. Of course she's gonna be I mean, obviously you're gonna disagree with her on principle, right? Like, obviously, you know, if she's defending Destiny like this, obviously, you know, that's something to be said, but whatever. But like, the point is that, like, yeah, I mean, she is making a utilitarian argument or utilitarian thinking kind of decision to defend Destiny on, right? Like, obviously. Because if it's somebody who is as representing of Ukraine as, like, UkrainianAna, right, or whatever the fuck online, then obviously she has to, like, make a stance. It's like, okay, is it the person who's donating like, I'm sorry, is Queeman's group the one donating to Ukraine? Is J Stokes' group the one donating to Ukrainian causes? Like, yeah, obviously she has to make a cost-benefit analysis here, no? Yeah.
Making these statements publicly. So
one-
the same thing with Erudite. Like, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't feel bad for her. It's just that my response is like, this is bullshit. You
I
knew
think
better.
Erudite's a lot closer to it than UkrainianAna is.
But all this shit, you have
hand.
enough public information to know that he is abusive. And so the only response, which I've not seen from any of the orbiters, I've seen it from tons of DGGers, not from any orbiter, that to me the only appropriate response here is I condemn this behavior. I am cutting ties with Destiny, and I think I have some reflecting to do about other victims that have spoken out that I did not take seriously.
I think Gisticle kind of said this to some degree. I mean,
I wouldn't say that. I don't even know if I agree with that. Like, the thing is I think it's still okay to be friends with somebody who is extremely flawed, and I think that's fine. But like, but you know, you got to be mindful of your public associations if you want to accomplish different kinds of goals, right? Obviously, right? Like, if my goal is ultimately, I don't know, securing funding for the Ukrainian military, then obviously that's one thing, right? Then she's maximizing that part. It's just, again, it's just kind of understandable from her position. MrGirl doesn't believe in gray areas. Everything is black or white. Yeah, like, I noticed this too. Like, he is also very willing to completely turn the word rape into something that is meaningless, right? Like, he will say something like a parasocial relationship between a creator and their orbiter is like raping them socially or something. Like, that's something along the lines of something that MrGirl would say. But obviously anyone would agree that that's not how you should use the word rape. You should use the word rape only in sexual contexts where somebody is trying to force upon another person, you know, when they're trying to, you know, push them away or something, right? Or whatever the fuck. But MrGirl would use rape in like every single possible circumstance to the point where the word rape doesn't mean anything anymore. So it's like, yeah, like that is the way that he does things, okay? Because he wants to convey the message that everything should be viewed in shades of gray, shades of black and white, and there should be no room for nuance, which is like the most stupid way to view like any fucking issue at this point. Like he doesn't believe in virtue signaling, but then there are some good aspects of virtue signaling, right? As Destiny said to him in a debate, where obviously if your key here was to get somebody to be a little bit more amicable towards you, to be friends or whatever the fuck, right? Then obviously you're going to virtue signal a little bit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
he
think- I
did.
think he said
That's
that,
true.
yeah.
He has said this.
Yeah.
That's his nickname. His name's J-Stalk.
Yeah, I don't-
Stalker.
yeah, I think that might be a Destinyism. I think that's how he says it.
No. His name
When
is
he's
really
not
J-Stalk.
calling him.
No, his name
His
is
name is
J-Stalk.
J-Stalk. That's like his actual literal.
Yeah, when people
name.
call him Gisticle, it's like a
Queen and J Stalk had the same problem turning everything into rape. Yeah, E rape, J rape, Z rape, everything rape.
nickname.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But yes, J-Stalk has done exactly that. He was like, I unequivocally condemn this, and there's shit I overlooked. I need to take a look in the mirror and understand my own participation in this. You're right. That is in my mind, has been the ideal, ethical, courageous response. And other than him, I don't. Actually, Kelly Jean probably is. I don't know what she has. I haven't seen her like tweet something out, but clearly she's. I don't know. You have to fucking cut ties with him and call him a piece of shit and
Yeah.
However that's done, I just think that needs to be like the gist of the statement and not like, oh, I didn't know I wasn't part of anything. How could I have known? Please give me more money. That's terrible.
Something I want to add with UkrainianAna is I think well, you say she should know, or these people should know, the public information was out there enough. I kind of agree with this,
shops.
But I think something I added in there is, in your article, one of the claims of your article is that Destiny is extremely competent at narrative control. Like he exercises extreme narrative control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you are too harsh in your moral judgments towards exiting members, I think you're hit with this dilemma of, is his narrative control, if his narrative control is so powerful.
Well, are they going to ignore the crowdfunding? Well, yeah, I don't know. I think they have a lot of incentive to ignore the fact that UkrainianAna needs to secure funding for Ukraine. Because it doesn't serve their narrative. I think they want to think of UkrainianAna as somebody who is like culpable or somebody who enables Destiny's behavior and whatnot, right? And in some sense it does, right? In some sense it does. She runs defense for him. But at the same time, again, like I'll say this for the 500 billionth time, right? Like the fact that she is forgivable, like she is absolutely forgivable in her specific instance. Like it is what it is, right?
Then of course they could never actually evaluate that evidence accurately. If we're expecting that they could evaluate the evidence with an open mind, then his narrative control is actually so weak that any
like there's a reason why I think even people like Queeman or Jay Stelk isn't so willing to go hard on UkrainianAna, right? Like I think there's a reason for that, right? I don't think the reason is just because oh, she's just a poor defenseless girl or whatever the fuck, right? I think the reason is because she actually has a legitimate reason to be supportive of Destiny. But yeah,
GG could have just gone in and read the article and come to the right conclusion, which would be contrary almost to one of the theses of the article. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't buy this.
Mm-hmm.
These people are adults. When you find out that people people you've talked to,
I know your friends and family are being slaughtered every day, but I need you to condemn someone that supports you because they shared someone's news without their consent. And isn't that the ultimate form of narcissism, right? I was literally talking about how it like MrGirl is undeniably a narcissist here, right? But like, isn't this like just kind of the ultimate form of narcissism where you feel as though you want your feelings to be validated in the sense that, yeah, you want this online beef to the point where you want this person to be caught, found, convicted, guilty, or whatever, but then you're giving up like all the other like aspects that is important to her life that she views to be something that is far, far more important than just condemning Destiny, right? So it's like, yeah, like obviously, it's pretty fucking logical, like what choice she's gonna make, but yeah, I don't know.
People you've interacted with, both perpetrator and victim, people you've gotten in fights with,
So
are
yeah,
accusing each
I
other
don't agree with MrGirl here. It's
of
just ridiculous.
sex crimes that they have likely committed. And if you care about fundraising for those soldiers, you need to talk to a PR person or a lawyer who is.
This is not even true either, by the way, okay? I just want to say, ever since her statement, I haven't even read it, okay? But it doesn't really matter, because all I'm saying is that whatever MrGirl is talking about here does not exist, okay? Because ever since the entire thing went down, UkrainianAna went on to secure more funding for Ukraine, okay? Like, she has went on to secure thousands and thousands and thousands more dollars for Ukraine. And by doing that, you know, it goes to show that, yeah, she is maximizing support for Ukraine here, right? She is absolutely maximizing support for Ukraine here. So it's like, the thing is, you know, again, the reality of the situation is that, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, she is accomplishing her task here. So, you know, it goes contrary to what MrGirl thinks that she should do, right? And also, what a ridiculous thing to say, she should get a PR person. Her PR is already pretty good. It's not like she needs a PR person, okay? Like, she has a few slip-ups here and there, but otherwise she has a very amicable appearance on social media, right? Yeah.
Not affiliated with this situation in any way.
Oh, also, guys, if you guys want to support me, okay? All right, there's one way to do so. There's multiple ways to do so, okay? First of all, you can stay subscribed, okay? Hit the notification bell, all right, whenever a video goes up. I upload extremely often, every single day, every single night, okay? I do not sleep, all right? You may think I'm sleeping, but I'm not actually sleeping, okay? The point is that there's multiple ways to support me, all right? Another way is to donate. Super chat or subs or anything is fine. I have a throne.com link. However, I just want to say it's been filled out, so thank you so much for funding the camera for me. Okay, it's like $150 or so. All right, so thank you so much for all the donos on that front. In addition, all right, thank you so much for people who have signed up for aura.com/Foodshops. Okay, I really appreciate the sponsorship support. Okay, again, that's one of the best ways you can do to support me. All right, and finally, again, okay, any kind of super chat, any kind of whatever. All right, and everybody else can see it, and yeah, I really appreciate the support. Okay, I appreciate you guys. Okay, I love you guys. Okay,
and have them help you come up with a clear, cogent response. If you can't afford a lawyer, you need to ask ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is pretty good at spitting out normie takes. It's pretty good at helping you orient yourself. What is it? What would somebody do in this situation?
To be fair, though, normies really don't use ChatGPT. I wish. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
I'm just saying that you, if you're a public figure.
The only slip up I remember was her defending that weird Nazi band. Are you talking about the Ukrainian, like, that one group? If so, I just want to say, like, defending them is understandable, no? Because in that specific instance, if they're fighting, if you're like teaming up with Nazis to fight against Russia, you're kind of like teaming up against a common enemy, no? And even then, like, I mean, it's defensible now because they're no longer that group. They have evolved from their current stance, right? They're no longer the same group anymore whatsoever. Yeah, that's what I have heard about the group at the very least. But yeah,
at all, you know that these resources are available to you, and if money is involved and possible criminal behavior is involved, like, because of some of the statements these people are making, they might be criminally liable. They might be civilly liable.
How?
Especially somebody like Dan.
Dan,
what?
Yeah. Dan could
How?
be.
Dan and Erudite may have involved themselves.
I'm thinking about UkrainianAna. I feel like those two are definitely much
again UkrainianAna. If you really believe that she has people whose lives are depending on her ability to fundraise, because I read that statement, I know she didn't ask a lawyer to help her write it, but she should have.
I was explaining the whole Destiny Pixie thing to my mom, and she thinks Pixie's a gold digger, lol.
I know she didn't ask.
You know, boomers are always going to have a more traditional view on things, aka against women, okay? Naturally, so yeah.
A PR person. So again, being in a cult is not an excuse for once you're exiting the cult and making these public statements. And like, I understand that if you're in a cult, you think that you'd think the cult is the whole world, and I know I said that earlier, but cult or no, once you're saying, okay, I'm being responsible now, Now I'm speaking with a clear head. I have the information available to me and in front of me, and I know what I'm going to do. And this is my hyper responsible statement because I'm
Sure.
clearing things up.
So I'm going to grant UkrainianAna is not responsible.
Once you're in that mode,
on this level, yeah.
Once you're in that mode, I am going to hold you fully responsible for anything that you say. That's why when Erudite does an interview with Turkey Tom, I'm not clipping it and treating it as her official statement. But once she says, okay, a statement on where things are at, then my how responsible or how hard I'm going to go on her is like goes up to 100 and like no 0.
So I think
softening.
Again, I do want to say I think Kyla and Dan are different cases. I think this kind of treatment of UkrainianAna, I think where it gets me is it's not even that it's unempathetic on a person-person level. I think it's unstrategic. I think I think our goal is to reduce this kind of abuse. And I think so. For example,
that's not my goal.
Okay. Or to get justice against Destiny or something.
No.
Yeah, okay, then you can frame what your goal is. I'll go with that. You frame what your goal is. I don't want to tell you what your goal is.
I think it's just clarity of just to call things as they are and tell the truth. And that's it. I don't really have downstream predictions or goals about what
you're saying. That your goal for you is to tell the truth. Or you're saying your goal is for them to tell the truth. Sorry.
I don't need to explain why that's stupid, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when UkrainianAna, I feel, is lying about what she knew and what she thought, or about what she should have known or should have thought, when she's painting this picture of herself as participating in this reasonably, that people should take away the message, oh, okay, so if you're in a group and one person is enormously powerful in that group and everyone else, it basically kowtows to them all the time, no matter what, and is afraid of challenging them even on the smallest things because they'll be banned and humiliated if they do. And then a bunch of people say that person is abusive, including sexually abusive. It is totally appropriate behavior to publicly mock the people trying to stand up.
Okay, dude. MrGirl is pretending as if, like, it's a fucking, Jeffrey Epstein sex cult, okay? Like, what the fuck, dude? It's not Jeffrey Epstein's sex cult, okay? Jesus. Like, come on, are we really gonna pretend the fact that, like, Destiny's orbiters literally do not debate about Destiny's actions, like, on the regular? Like, they literally go around and debate whether or not Destiny is being moral every single time it's after stream hours. It happens all the time previously, right? It's not like they lack any autonomy or like they're trying to be brainwashed into liking Destiny or something. They always argue all the time whether or not Destiny is being moral. Yeah. If there's anybody who has been like really fucking dick sucking of Destiny until November, it's J-Stalk. J-Stalk is the one person who sucks Destiny's dick until, like, and everybody made fun of him for it, right? Like, everybody was like, ah, J-Stalk? You mean the one person who tries to clout chase off of Destiny? Like, literally, even people inside of DGG did it, where they were making fun of J-Stalk for sucking Destiny's dick. And now, like, we're gonna worship him now that he's turned heel for, like, fucking clout? Like, okay.
To the tyrant and shit on them. And then once, that's the framing that she's presenting.
Yeah,
she's
like, I totally agree that she's been terribly irresponsible and also...
She's not acknowledging
abusive.
that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So regardless of, even if I knew it was going to make the world end, if I tweeted this out, fuck that. She knew.
I had the same conversation with Smith, and he took essentially your position, and I think where I ended up differing is...
Good for
yeah, of course Smith would take MrGirl's position. What the fuck are you expecting?
I guess I come at this as the perspective of a teacher, is that I see UkrainianAna do this, and I see, pounding her over her moral mistakes here, which she certainly made.
FYI, okay, siding with maximizing funding for Ukraine is 100% a moral decision, okay? They're pretending as if They're pretending as if UkrainianAna didn't make a moral decision. By the way, deciding that you want to maximize funding for Ukraine is a moral decision, okay? So it's a bit silly for them to say like, oh yeah, you know what, this is not like a moral decision. It's like, dude, well, I mean, I guess you can be like the most moral person in a ditch. I guess when UkrainianAna's dead, you know, she can finally think, oh, at least I condemned Destiny that one time. Oh my god, I feel so moral, guys.
As being
amazing.
Counterproductive. I think you could. So, for example, it's she said a whole lot of terrible things about you, about the article or whatever. What if there was a future where, in this moment of recalibration, she decided actually maybe I should read that article, and then afterwards she's
okay. Who's gonna read it? It was like 100 pages long. I still don't want to read it. What the fuck? It's so fucking long. Like, like, don't tell me that I haven't fucking tried, right? Like, fuck me, dude. It was cancer. Like, it was cancer to try and read.
Yeah, I know this. I know that.
And also, for the record, if I'm going to be listening to, like, an audiobook on anything, okay, I would rather be listening to an audiobook on Ezra Klein's Abundance.
She didn't. I guess what I'm saying is that...
Well, yeah, if that changes...
approach,
if that happened... Oh, that would make her do that?
Yeah. What if the writer of the article, being a total asshole to her on Twitter, it runs with the narrative, essentially, there's this narrative...
I don't think I'm being an asshole at all.
Basestock is where I learned like 90% of my information about Pixie and other leaks. Low, for a guy who thinks sharing leaks is immoral, he talks about them a lot. Yeah, oh yeah, no, I mean that's his entire personality at this point, right? Like that's literally his entire personality. Jesus. Hi, did you really try to read that one? Yes, absolutely. I've read parts of it multiple times on stream because it was relevant to the topic that I was covering, right? But I would never ever try to read it for fun. Like Jesus. Holy shit, like no matter how much of a drama slop fan I am.
I don't think it's being an asshole to say, are you fucking kidding me? What your statement you're issuing contradicts your past public statements about this issue. You're framing yourself as though you have been blindsided by this, but you were told and you intentionally undermined the victims. And by not acknowledging that, you're still undermining the victims. There's a victim in that article who got her nudes leaked. And what am I saying to that? What am I saying?
I don't know why the fuck MrGirl is doing this cringe, like, oh, I care about the victims thing still. Because as far as I'm concerned, MrGirl doesn't care about anybody but himself. Alright? He cares about validating his own opinions, and he cares about what other people think of him. Alright? So, this entire drama is a way of him trying to get other people to say, yeah, I think MrGirl was right the entire time. Right? He likes getting that kind of validation. So it's just like he's so cringe for doing this. Like he's actually so cringe for saying, yeah, I actually care about the victims, and trying to put on his Oscars nomination level acting of like, oh wow, look at yeah, I care about the victims. How dare you? I had a person in my little article that had their nudes leaked. Oh my god, dude, get me out.
To that person who probably is watching all this unfold, if I come out and say, oh, well, now it's a teachable moment. No, you don't get to downplay that. You knew, you were told, and you ignored it. And my role is not to be your teacher here. And I think it's fine if that is your approach, but that's not the role I'm playing in this situation.
If your goal is to...
Dude, the way that MrGirl comes off too is so condescending. Holy, he's so condescending, so annoying. Dude.
Expose the truth. Well,
I really don't like people. I really don't like people who like can't be down to earth. Okay, I think one of the biggest ways you can appeal to people is by being down to earth. All right. Or even have a down-to-earth mode. I think MrGirl has a very down-to-earth voice. I think his voice is calming, alright, obviously. But, like, I don't think his personality is down-to-earth, right? Like, I can't really picture somebody hanging out in voice chat with MrGirl. Like, it's just not something I can actually picture in my head, right? there are some content creators where I can totally picture like hanging out with them in voice chat or whatever the fuck, right? But like if I can't picture you like hanging in a voice chat and then you're like trying to condescend, it's like I don't know, I just can't take you seriously. He's kind of creepy, yeah, no kidding. I think one of the things that MrGirl understanding of the world is that he convinced himself he really does care about victims. He has convinced himself. I think it's because of his narcissism. Yeah. I think that he deludes himself into thinking things that he doesn't even believe in either. Very weird.
I guess this
Very
touches
strange.
on, I guess
He's
this
a
is a common
specimen,
criticism
okay?
with your article, is that the
He's a
mode that
creature,
it was
la
written in
creatura.
is in such a way that it's very easy for Destiny to totally flip the narrative on it.
I don't think it is.
People aren't going to take it seriously. Or
I don't think
whatever.
that's true. I disagree with that.
Maybe so, but I'm saying that was a criticism. This was
I
a
disagree with
criticism
that.
people.
I strongly disagree with that criticism.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's why I wrote it the way I did in the first place.
I think maybe what I'm saying is touching upon whatever energy is within that same criticism. That maybe my sense is that this is just counterproductive to what you're trying to do. That this does not get the message across. That the harshness. So this harshness makes sense with Kyla, but for someone quite as tangential to this, I think it comes across as bitter.
There's a difference between sending a message and taking responsibility for the receipt of the message. Those are different things. The second one is teaching or also manipulation.
Yeah.
Which involves being less truthful. Always. Teaching is less truthful than just saying your truth, speaking what you believe is the truth.
Well,
teaching
what is
about
getting the truth? Is exposing the truth to say the truth in a forest where no one can hear, or is it to get people to believe the truth?
No, it's the first one.
Expose has a certain connotation.
No, it doesn't. The truth was exposed by the article, whether any...
Expose implies the person was trying to hide it, okay? So expose does have a connotation. I don't know why he's saying it doesn't have a connotation. Like, if we're not talking about the drama specifically, and we're just talking about the word expose implies that the other person was trying to sweep it under the rug, or hide it, or they don't want this being dug up, right? It's a skeleton in their closet, right? It's fucking Sans Undertale in the closet, yeah.
Whether he reads it or not, it is public and exposed. And that is more my responsibility.
I don't buy that exactly. I mean, I'm not going to say you didn't expose the truth, so to speak, but I do think that people receiving the message, I think, is part of exposing. I think, for example,
it's not.
When I hear this, when I hear religious people say, like, Jesus, brought us the truth and it's our job to have heard it. It's like, oh, great for some African kid who hears about Jesus once and now they go to hell because they never, were truly convinced.
I don't think the semantics matter here. I think you understand that I'm saying I organized this information and vetted it and then published it.
Mm-hmm.
So published, exposed, to me, I'm using them synonymously. If you don't like it, that's fine. But you know what I'm saying. I'm not taking responsibility for getting it into UkrainianAna's mind. I'm taking responsibility for making it publicly accessible and telling her that it's there. And I accomplished both of those things. That is where my responsibility ends.
Okay. Dude. Well, can you imagine getting into an argument about like washing the dishes with this guy? Oh my god, I feel so bad for Shaylin, dude.
Where we say that's where your responsibility ends. Says who? Where does your responsibility come from?
Myself. That's what I decided.
Shaylin, I'm only responsible for putting the dishes in the washer. I have accomplished that, and therefore I am done. When you said putting the dishes in the washer, you did not say turn on the washer. You said put the dishes inside of the washer. All right? The fact that you're doing this is raping me. You're raping me right now, Shaylin, with the fact that we are in a relationship and you're turning that relationship against me. I feel emotionally abused right now, Shaylin. Shaylin, I put the dishes in the washer. Shaylin, answer my question. Did I put the dishes in the washer? The answer is yes. Okay. If you want to ask any other question, I don't want to have this conversation right now. Okay. Did I put the dishes in the washer?